Number one, we're going to learn about accumulating wealth. How many people want wealth? If you want wealth, put it in the chat box, wealth, right? Accumulating wealth and the cost of waiting. We're also going to take a little look at some historical returns, some average returns, and your returns. We're going to talk about some strategies and minimizing risk. Okay, so that's going to be our topic today, asset accumulation strategies. So I want you to think about something, okay? And let's talk a little bit about investment intelligence, okay? Think about the first time you encountered anything investment related, okay? Let's go back. Was it a retirement plan at your first job? Maybe it was a gift, maybe your parents handed you a present, right? Or maybe at an age that it just hits you like, I gotta start investing, right? Think about that. And now I want you to think about, where do you get your investment advice from? Is it social media? Is it your friends that you went to school with? Is it your coworkers? And how did you know what to do with it? I meet a lot of people who are eager to just jump into investing, right? But building your knowledge, okay, it begins with a strong foundation. And so that's why if you have your workshop book, okay, I want you to, you should see this page here. In fact, we start off every workshop with this concept of building a financial foundation. Like building a house, you must build it from the ground up. First, we start with proper protection, right? Then we have debt management and we put a debt plan in place. Then we help you to build an emergency fund, and then we help you to properly invest, right? And no matter how much you plan in life, doesn't the unexpected usually happen? And that's why no matter who you are, where you are, if you're calling in from Texas, if you're calling in from Hawaii, if you're calling in from South Carolina, that's why you have to make sure that you build a strong emergency fund. And so let's talk a little bit about what happens if you fail to plan. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that 4 in 10 adults don't have the proper $400 emergency? Why do we fail? Why? Well, we don't plan to fail. We just fail to plan. Isn't that true? Most people plan for the things that make us happy, like parties, like weddings, like vacations, right? Maybe the reason why many don't have enough saved for retirement is because they get consumed by the emergencies that they didn't plan for. I want you to think about that. So what is an emergency fund? Hopefully, this doesn't happen to anyone here, but maybe it has happened, or maybe you've seen it happen to someone around you. Maybe a major car accident or a home repair. We had to get our roof repaired after the hurricane. A leaking roof, right? What about the washing machine go out, or the hot water heater, or maybe a loss of job, or maybe a serious illness or a hospitalization? That's why you have to set up an emergency fund, no matter what, to help you pay for any of these resulting expenses. So what would an emergency cost you? Really quickly in the chat box, the last emergency that you had that it caused you to, out of nowhere, come out of pocket for. Why don't you put in the chat, right? How much was that emergency? Let me think. My last emergency, we had to buy a hot water heater for the house. And that emergency was about $400. $400. Tiana says new tires. Oh man, I know that tires are expensive. Melissa says $1,500. Everybody's saying new tires. I think it's because we all drive a lot, right? You see, so it's important, no matter what, that you have an emergency fund. So let's talk a little bit more about that, okay? A basic rule of thumb to determine how much you should set aside is at least 3 to 6 months of your total income. Now, they say this, start off, okay, by saving your first $1,000, okay? Hey, it may take you a while to save the first $1,000. It's okay, but get there. It doesn't matter if you start off with $50 a month, $100 a month, right? Start saving and get to your first $1,000, and then after that, okay, once you get to that first $1,000, now you have to increase to 3 times your monthly income, right? And so you have to have a goal in order for you to be able to right? Have a goal so that you can continue to grow, and then get to 6 times your monthly income. Okay, so if you make $1,000 a month, right, try to save 3,000, and then you have 3 months of income that you have set aside, and then you get to 6,000, and now you have a 6 months emergency fund. Now your confidence, right, increase. Now if you do have any problems at work, or there is a major, right, issue or an accident, you can comfortably continue to pay the bills for the amount of time that you have saved up. So think about that. And here's some good options to consider, okay, for an emergency fund. A separate bank account. Not the same bank account where you can just transfer the money back and forth, a separate bank account, right? What about bond-based mutual funds, or relatively low-risk ETFs? What about money market funds? Ladies and gentlemen, there's lots of different ways, which we're going to share with you today, okay, that you can get a safe return and build an emergency fund. But I want to give you a disclaimer, okay? A credit card is not your emergency fund. You know, some people, they say, well, I have a $5,000 credit limit. That's my emergency fund. No, a credit card is not your emergency fund, okay? And then also, you know, investments, you know, do involve market risk. That is something that you need to think about, including the loss or possible loss of your principal. So that's why no matter what you decide to invest in, you should consider the investment objectives, the risks, and the charges and expenses carefully before investing, okay? So the financial foundation, again, we shared, just like a house, you start at the bottom with proper protection, right? To protect your income, to protect your health, to protect your family. We get you out of debt, and we get you on a focused plan so that you can become debt free. We start to build up an emergency fund, and then we start investing for our retirement. So now we need to start thinking, once we get past the emergency fund, and by the way, I hope you noticed that there's a difference between investment and emergency fund. These are two different types of places. You don't want to combine them together. You don't want to put your emergency money in an investment. Why? Because when you have an emergency, you have to pull from your investment, right? And so we want to build them separately, but together. And growing your wealth means what? Money making money for you, okay? So why do we invest? You know, we work so hard all of our lives hoping that we become financially independent. I know me, that's my goal. I don't want to work all my life for it, but maybe until like 41 or something. You know, I would hope that I'm financially independent and I can retire and all of those things. But most people, they build up wealth, you know, in hopes to maybe buy a new house or retire sooner, you know, in the 30s or your 40s or your 50s. Provide better opportunities to our children than we had. Maybe pay for their college or buy them a car or buy them a house. But more so to control our time. Most people want money, right? Time is money. That's what I hear. And so more money equals you get to be able to free your time. So bring us your goals, and together we'll work on a strategy, right? So today we're going to talk about some different strategies that you can use to build wealth, okay? But in order for these strategies to work, you first have to put goals together. So I challenge everybody today, okay, to start thinking about your money with purpose. Put goals together for the future and get together with a financial professional so that we can help you, right, to put those goals into a plan. So the 3 phases of wealth, okay, let's talk about that. The life cycle of building wealth can be simply understood in 3 phases. So phase 1, accumulation. Okay, we're on page 45 if you have your book. So the accumulation phase, this is where you're saving, you're investing, right? You're making those contributions. Okay, maybe you're like me today, starting in your 20s, and we save with the intention of one day, right, at maybe retirement age or depending on the plan, to take a distribution, which is the next step, the next phase of building wealth. And what usually happens in distribution, that is when you spend down the assets that you saved. You're spending, or you're withdrawing, or you're taking the money that you accumulated and that has grown for you. And this is usually through your retirement years. But then after that, you also have to think about estate transfer. And that is what you have accumulated and what you have left over being passed on, maybe to the next generation or to family or to charity, however you decide, but it's being transferred the way that you want it. So these are the three phases of wealth: accumulation, distribution, and estate transfer. So I have some good news for you. Most people will live longer. So that's the first part. I give you good news first, then bad news. So good news, most people will live longer. On average, the American life expectancy at age 65 today, okay, can expect to live until 84 for men and about 86 for women. And you can check that out on the Social Security website, okay? Women live longer than men. However, the bad news is that most people are not saving enough for their retirement. In fact, this is some scary statistics. Only 36% of non-retired adults think their retirement savings is on track. So that means what? That 64% of people are either don't know or they're not sure what they will have. And that's bad news because people are living longer, ladies and gentlemen, but they're not planning properly for retirement. In fact, there's been a shift in responsibility. You got to open your eyes to be able to see what's going on. And over the past few decades, pensions have dramatically declined or have been eliminated altogether. Okay? If company pensions can no longer be relied upon, and Social Security may not be enough for one's desired retirement, the consumer must be responsible for their own financial security. You, in the audience today, you are the consumer, right? You have to be responsible for your own financial security. So, what would you depend on for retirement? From most to least. So we have a poll for you that I'm going to launch right now. Give me 1 second, and I want to hear from you guys. Let's relaunch this poll. Continue. All right. So I just launched a poll for you. I want you to take a second, and I want you guys to fill that out. Right? What sources of income will you rely on the most for your retirement? Will it be, I don't know. Oops, sorry about that. Will it be Social Security? Will it be a pension? Will it be the savings that you put aside yourself? Okay, we have 30 more seconds before we start the poll. Come on, guys. We got 81 people on here. Come on, just do the poll because I want you to see the numbers. See, the 81 of you today represent the entire country, okay? 15 more seconds. All right, we have a lot of people who participated. Awesome. Once we get to about 40. All right, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, wonderful. Look, everybody's doing the poll now. All right, we got 50. Okay, cool. We'll end the poll now. All right, so let me share the results with you. All right. So you see, most people, they are going to be relying on their personal savings. Look at that. Over 60% of people said that their personal savings is what they're going to rely on. 36% say Social Security. And look at that. Only 4% are going to rely on a pension. Okay. Thank you guys so much for participating in our poll. So that's why you have to take control of your personal saving, and you have to make sure that you have the understanding to be able to build wealth. And the question is, can you afford to wait? Most people, if you remember from our first workshops before this one, we talked about how to calculate how much money you need for retirement. And here, statistics say that most people will need about $1 million at age 65. So here's what you'll need to save per month. Okay, if you were getting a 8% rate of return. So at age 25, if you're starting at 25 and you want to retire at 65 with $1 million, you need to start saving about $284.56 a month, earning 8%. If you're 35, about $666.54 a month. If you're 45, about $1,686.50 a month. And if you're 55, about $5,429.90 a month. So my question is, can you afford to wait? See, regardless of what age you are, no matter how young you are today or how old you are, and if you know, I know there's a lot of different age groups on this call today. Okay, so I fall with right. I think I did my numbers, and I think I'm around $350 a month is what I need to save by 65. So hey, everybody on this call today, no matter how much time you have, you can always leverage the market. Okay, you can always leverage money making money for you. And there is if you have your book in front of you, there is a barcode that you can scan, and it takes you to our World System Builder savings calculator. And if you're on the screen today, all you have to do is take your camera and point it to the screen, and it'll go ding, and it'll take you to the site. And you can calculate how much you need to save to hit your retirement goal. So it's one of the amazing tools that we have available for you. I truly think that you should take advantage of it. So, in attending workshop 1, okay, we talk about this concept called the Rule of 72. If you do have one of our Saving Your Future workbooks, okay, this is on page 11 where you can learn about this concept. But the Rule of 72, you take 72 and divide it by your annual rate of return, and that will give you approximately how many years it would take your money to double, okay? So understand, most investments, have generating, they have fluctuating returns, so just keep in mind that this is a mathematical concept, okay? But I want to just give you some examples, okay, of a person that starts off with $10,000 in a 6%, okay, rate of return. The Rule of 72 says 72 divided by 6 equals 12. So in 12 years, that $10,000 investment will double to $20,000. In another 12 years, double to $40,000, and then in another 12 years, $81,000. So as you see, 36 years later, that $10,000 become $81,000. But look at the 8%, guys. The money doubles every 9 years. 36 years later, the same $10,000 is $159,000. 10%, the money doubles every 7.2 years. In this example, 36 years later, 309. So I want you to notice, it's a comment. I hope you understand, right? The higher the rate of return, right, the faster the money doubles and the bigger it doubles. Okay? So when it comes to saving for retirement, are you stressed out like this guy on the screen here? Who he started losing like all the hair in the middle because he's thinking about all of these things: 401k, 403b, IRA, pension, annuity, Social Security, mutual funds, equity, your children. What do you have? How much do you know about it? Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the financial markets. And by the way, before I jump into that, this slide right here I want you to really pay attention to this. Most people, they have these things, but they do not have a clear picture of how they work and how it fits in their situation. And if you're this person in the middle, maybe your hair has not fell out yet, but let's learn before it falls out so it never has to happen, okay? So, make sure you attend our other workshops. Make sure you sit with a financial professional who can help you review what you have, right? But make sure that you get the understanding, okay? So the financial markets, essentially, they all boil down to the equity and the bond markets, the mutual funds and ETFs, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the stock market, the equity market. We hear this term all the time. What is it? It is a financial market where shares of companies are issued and traded either through exchanges or over-the-counter markets. Okay, a mutual fund is a professionally managed fund that allows you to pool your money together with other investors to purchase a portfolio of stocks, bonds, or other securities that might be difficult to do on your own. Okay, and you will learn more about mutual funds and more in the next workshop. So that's why you have to continue coming, okay? Workshop 6, make sure you tune in tomorrow. And what is an ETF? That is an exchange traded fund. It refers to a type of financial asset that tracks an index, a sector, commodity, or other asset, but which can be purchased or sold on a stock exchange the same as a regular stock. So these are a couple of the financial markets that I'd like for you to be familiar with. Okay, so let's talk about strategies over trends. Some things might seem hot at the moment, and what is sensational today may not be tomorrow. Let's talk about we're in a society today where people are focused on the next best thing. At one point it was stocks. I mean, when the stock market really, really, really got hot, when people were just now getting in it, or the real estate, or precious metals like gold and silver, or cryptocurrencies, or gas and oil, the gas industry, the oil industry, But I encourage you, my friends today, my fellow students, right, to be educated. Don't just follow trends. Follow your financial foundation and your risk tolerance based on your situation. So that's why instead of focusing on the next best thing and the next best trend, we want to help you focus on strategy. You put together a strategy, no matter what comes in front of you, you'll be able to see through it and overcome it. So let's talk a little bit about the market history. This is a chart from 1928 up until 2020 in the S&P 500, the rise and the fall. Okay, so you see that the green represents the market being up, and the purple represents the market when it was doing. When the market was going through a downturn. So you see, do you notice a trend here? You notice that the market does what? It rises and it falls. Rises and it falls. Right? History shows us. So the question is, should you understand history, or should you get swept away with sensational news and headlines, or the next big trend, or the next hot thing? If you pay attention to the history, you can better plan for the future. Okay? So my first question is, can you handle the loss? So I'm going to share with you a potential portfolio and show you what happens, okay, when this in this example. When a client, or in this example, when an investor lost 10%, okay, they would actually have to gain back 11% to get back even. Let me explain, okay? If you have $100 and you lose 10%, well, you've lost $10. So now you're at $90, right? Follow me. If you just get 10% back from your $90, that's only $9. So you'd actually need 11%, okay, from $90 to get $100 back. I didn't understand that concept at first. I thought, I lose 100%, just give me 100% back and I'll be good. Well, let's see. If you lose 20%, you actually need to get a return of 25% back just to break even. If you lose 30%, you need to earn 43 to just break even. Okay? If you lose 40, you need to gain 67 just to get back even. And guess what? If you lose 50, guess how much you need to get back even? 100% return to get back even. And my question to you, it goes even further, is if you lose 60%, you have to get 150% in return just to get back even. Wow. I need you to think about that, because most people, they've never thought about, can I handle the loss? And do you remember the dot-com crash in the year 2000? How old was I in 2000? I think I was 6 or 7 in 2000. I remember people talking about it. What about the great crash of 2008? Do you remember, were you a part of that, those people who lost money? So a way to fight loss is a concept called dollar cost averaging. Okay? So dollar cost averaging is an investment strategy in which an investor divides up the total amount to be invested across periodic purchases with the goal of reducing impact of volatility on the overall purchase. So here's an example. Let's say you want to purchase a mutual fund and you want to do a one-time lump sum purchase of $900. Boop, you make the deposit. Or you could take that $900 and break it up into $100 increments over a period of, let's say, 9 months, right? And make those deposits, and it still equals up to $900. Okay? So let me show you an example of how you can use that strategy in dollar cost averaging. So it says Alex's mom loves him so much. She wants to save $500 for him over the next 5 months. So using dollar cost averaging, of course, okay? So in month number 1, she's going to contribute $500, okay? And let's say the price per unit, so if you're looking at my graph here, the price per unit for the shares in the investment that Alex's mom is buying is $20 per share. So she puts in $100, that allows her to buy 5 shares. But let's say in month number 2, the price goes down from $20 to $10. So now, with the same $100 that she's going to contribute in month 2, because remember, it doesn't matter what goes on in the market, whether it's going up or down, his mom is dollar cost averaging. So she's consistent with her investment. So when it goes down to $10, she's able to buy 10 units with the 100. What about when it drops down to $5? Well, in month 3, when she buys $100 worth, she gets 20 units. When the price goes down to $2 in month 4, she's able to get 50 units, right? And then in month 5, when the price goes to $10, she's able to get 10 units. Okay, so over 5 months, Alex's mom has contributed $500. And over that time, because of the price per unit going up and down, she was able to get 95 units, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about the results of dollar cost averaging. So you notice that during this time of Alex's mom's making these contributions, right? The price started at 20, it went down all the way to $2, and then bounced back to 10. So she was able to purchase 95 units. And right now, the current price is $10 per unit. So what is the value of her investment? $950. You see that? That's what her investment is worth, okay? What if she had used all 500 in the first month and taken the lump sum approach? Well, in the first month, she would have took $500 and bought all of the shares at $20 a unit. So she would have just gotten 25 units. So in month number 5, when the price is at $10 a unit, her total investment would only be worth $250. What? You see that? If she would have purchased them all at one time and waited 5 months and bought it at the sold at the end, she'd have actually lost $250. But because of her dollar cost averaging, purchasing shares and purchasing units as the price went down and as the price came back up, she was actually able to make a $450 profit. Wow, that is incredible. Dollar cost averaging. This is the result of dollar cost averaging, okay? So diversification is another strategy that you need to know about. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification is a key strategy to manage risk and market volatility by allocating investments across many financial industries, instruments, and or other categories. For example, you could just put all your eggs in just one company. So this is company number 1. Or you could spread some of those eggs into 3 different companies, okay? Or 3 different industries, okay? So diversification, this can be used when thinking about tax treatment, tax now, tax later, tax advantage, or your goals, short-term, mid-term, long-term. That's how you have to start planning. So to my students here today, I want you to think about this. Look at this example, okay? If company one or industry one, if you have all your eggs in one basket and you drop all your eggs, if you drop that basket, what happens? All your eggs are crushed, right? No omelets for you. But if you're able to spread your eggs amongst different industries and different companies, if you drop one basket, you still have the other two to be able to cook breakfast, right? So this is another, and I want you, like it says here, to use that same strategy with your goal. Short term, mid term, long goal. Don't just put all your goals together. You have to spread them out. And rebalancing. So this is, you have to think about the assets in your portfolio, okay? They will gain and lose value over time. Thus, the percentage it takes of the total portfolio will shift, okay? So you need to know what rebalancing is. And it's necessary to bring your portfolio back to its intended asset allocation, okay? So here in this example, we're talking about a shift over time of your portfolio. And let's just say, okay, that you have 25% of your investment in one asset and 75%, let's say 25% in bonds and the other in equity. And let's say that the equity over time begins to have gains. It begins to start producing growth. And that 25% actually begins to shift to 30% because it makes up now a bigger percentage of your portfolio. Well, rebalancing is what the investor or the investment advisor, what they will do at that time to reshift your portfolio, reposition your investments so that it is not outside of the original strategy that you put together. And that's why you want to periodically reevaluate your investment goals and your risk tolerance. You want to make sure that, during those periods of good time when the market is up or during those periods when the market is down, that your portfolio still matches the strategy that you originally put together, okay? And that's why in your workshop book today, if you have a workbook, you should see a barcode. And this is a simple assessment called a risk and suitability questionnaire. A simple assessment can be used to help determine the type of investor you are, so that you can select the proper mix of investments consistent with your financial situation. Again, man, WSB has so many incredible tools. All you have to do is take out your camera and boop, it scans, and you can go right to the suitability questionnaire. And I actually use this, when I talk to people, and it's so funny because I find that most people, they think that they want all of these, investments and high risk investments, but when we do the questionnaire, they realize, wow, I actually don't want what I think I do. So find out your investment type, find out your risk type, do the questionnaire, okay? As life changes, your objective changes. When you're younger, you may be more aggressive. When you're older, you may want less risk. And that's why, when you're older, you may want to consider a conservative portfolio. When you think about a conservative portfolio, that means 90% is more so in fixed income or cash equivalents, and 10%, is in maybe equities or stock, right? And usually at a conservative portfolio, it's designed to take low risk. It's designed to limit your risk. And that also limits the amount of return. Okay, so this is a conservative portfolio, lower risk, lower return. But as you move up in your risk, okay, maybe you may want to look into the moderate conservative portfolio, where 70% of your income is in fixed, right, and safer investments, but 30%. So you're taking a little bit more risk than the conservative person. 30% is in equities, okay? What about the moderate investor? 50-50. 50% of your portfolio is in fixed and safer investments, and the other 50 is in equities, right, and stock. Or the moderate aggressive, right, 70% equity, 30% in fixed. Or the aggressive, 90% of your money is in equities and 10% in fixed. So you got to know your risk tolerance, know where you are. Usually the younger, the more time, the more aggressive, the older, the less time, the more conservative. Okay? So know your risk tolerance. All investments are not made equal. Okay? Know your risk tolerance. Okay, so I encourage everybody to do the questionnaire and see what is your risk tolerance before you even think about investing. Know your risk tolerance going into it. Okay, and think about what works for you, because this is where diversification meets risk tolerance. Asset allocation is a Nobel Prize winning investment strategy that aims to balance risk and reward by adjusting a portfolio's assets according to an individual's goals, risk tolerance, investment horizon. And so a properly licensed financial professional can help determine which allocation is best suited for your needs, because everybody's investment is not the same. So, some knowledge to move ahead. Okay, I want you to ask yourself, how can I improve on what I have? You have to cross your arms like the lady on the screen. How can I improve on what I have? What strategies am I currently implementing to help achieve my goal? How tolerant am I to risk? Knowledge is power, but it is even more powerful for an educated investor. Okay? And so I challenge you today to take action. Here's a post from our WSB community, our WSB Facebook community. And if you haven't, you should follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. But Joy Wada here, she said, I finally reached my goal of creating a 6-month emergency fund. It was hard in the beginning, but with consistency, it got easier. Anyone can do it. Since I have these backup funds, I was not worried or stressed when COVID-19 hit. I became unemployed, but thanks to WSB, I didn't have to touch those funds. How powerful is that? So you want to put yourself in the position to where, and you see what she said, a 6-month emergency fund. Ladies and gentlemen, I challenge you to start saving, start looking at your future and your money different. But take action today, right? Only you can take the steps necessary for your future. One of the greatest miracles is that you can change your life by simply changing the way you think. So let's take action, right? Let's change the way that we think about money. So your homework, okay? Homework. Oh my goodness, we finished way too early. I have to keep you guys here for 20 more minutes now. Just kidding. You've been a great classroom today. Give yourself a hand for surviving my class today. Yes, and so I want you to be good students and do your homework. So here's number one, is connect with the person who invited you or the people who invited you. Tell them if I did a good job or a bad job. Okay, leave me a review. But we want you to be a part of our 30 million financially educated. Join the campaign and bring somebody to the next workshop. I love these topics: fulfilling long-term goals, building savings and wealth, increasing cash flow and managing debt, preparing with proper protection, and your health and wealth. Listen, guys, people need this information. And if you learn something today, man, you have to tune into the next one. The next workshop's going to go deeper on different investment vehicles that you can use as you start planning for retirement. But overall, be an educated consumer after today, right? Be an informed consumer. Work with a financial professional to help you improve your financial strategy. Okay? All right. So that is that is the end of our workshop today. So go ahead, take action. Hopefully you did scan our barcodes. So I challenge you to go see what is your risk tolerance today. Go see how much money should you start saving to hit your retirement goal. And make sure that you tune in to the next workshop so that you can continue building your financial foundation. Thank you guys very much, and have an amazing Tuesday. We also have this workshop going on again tonight, 7 p.m. Central Time,